Good afternoon on Thursdays of Dimensions. Some of you watching me right now do not know what we're talking about. So for the past 14 Thursdays, we've been holding these presentations where I talk about my spiritual encounters. At first, I was just doing it to reach out to people and tell them what is happening. And the response I got was amazing. So then I decided to do it continuously. Before I start today's encounter, I just want to apologize to everyone who waited for me last week, Thursdays. It was a situation beyond my control, so I could not present on that day. But I'm here now, and I've got a very nice encounter to talk about. This encounter is about a time in 2006 where I had a dream. You'd call it a dream, but it was sort of like a lucid dream. A lucid dream is where you feel like you're there. You're conscious, your body, your physical body, everything feels like it's there. You know, you'd actually think if you were to watch your bed, you're not there, because that's how real it is. I'm going to tell you of how I saw my baby before I had him. So anyway, it was around about January or February of 2006. It was my first year of varsity. I had this intense dream around about 2 o'clock in the morning. I dreamt that I was walking down the street and something made me feel compelled to walk into this building. It was a very old building that sort of seemed like it was abandoned. I walked inside. It was a bit dingy and dark. And then I walked down the stairs. But when I looked in my hands, I was carrying a child. When I was carrying this child's head was a bit cone-shaped, and the child was very dark. And I was like, this cannot be my child. But I felt the love towards the child. And it was strange at the same time, because I'm like, I'm not even ready to have a child. So anyway, then I went down the stairs. Suddenly the baby is not there. Go down the stairs by the gates of this flat. There's women selling fruits by the streets. And then they were like sitting there, and when we greeted and I passed and I was waiting to cross the streets. Before I crossed the street, there were children laughing, going to the other side. But before I was even looking at that properly, a man came. This man, he went to these women and said, whose keys are these? He had a bunch of keys, and he says, whose keys are these? And these women were like, go and ask that woman, go and ask that woman. And they were pointing to me. This guy came straight to me, no greeting, no talking whatsoever. And he literally opened my hand, took the keys, and closed my hand. And there was a very nice key holder that was like a sunflower into it. And then he left. So I'm trying to reach after this guy, and he's just going and going, and he's going straight to wherever he's going. And I'm walking on very thorny pathways. You know, it was like gravelly and grassy in that area. And I kept on following him because I wanted to tell him these keys are not mine. But he wasn't even looking back. Then before I saw where he could go, I snapped, woke up. Remember now, in the dream I was walking in a very thorny and gravelly area. Guys, can you believe that night, 2:15 in the morning, I woke up with throbbing feet. They were hurting, but you could not see like any injuries or anything, but they were like this, as if the heart itself is there beating. I was like, Lord, what is this? And I started praying. At that time, just to say, you know what, any harm shall not come my way, because I don't even understand what this dream is about. Fast forward to 2007 July, I delivered my son. So after the delivery, I couldn't see him for like an hour and a half, and I was getting irritated. And then finally they brought him into my ward. Guys, can you believe that same face I saw in the dream? My son had it. But when they brought him in, I wasn't thinking about the dream. I was thinking, no, this is not my son. Take him back. You took the wrong son. I'm not this dark. His dad is not this dark. Whose son is this? don't mess me around. And it didn't help that the drugs were still working on me. So I was very angry with the nurses, but they didn't explain properly the process of childbirth and stuff like that, what can happen. I'm not going to even go deeper with that, but the following morning they explained, because the child was back to normal. He had my features, he had his dad's features. It was my child. But that day, when I saw that face, that night, I was reminded of the dream that I had, that lucid dream. And then looking at my life, I had to go back. I think it was 2 years back when I looked at this dream more concerning this guy who gave me keys. There's a man I met in my life, a leader, and he showed me the pathway and he gave me keys of life. Things that I can use today to say I'm going forward. I've learned a lot. It was not all happiness in the way, showing that you walk through thorns. Your journey is not easy. That's why I had to walk through those thorns, the gravel road and stuff like that. But those keys that I received is what I'm using currently to go to where I need to go right now. So I just decided to share that, to show you that even if you don't believe in God, there's definitely a higher power beyond us that works beyond our understanding, you know. Because for me to wake up with feet that are throbbing just because I walked in a thorny area, they were sore. I even called my mom the same time. I said, Mom, I had a dream and it really perturbed me. I don't know what it means. But I can assure you, even if the encounter you're having right now doesn't make sense, in the future, it makes total sense. And remember, God doesn't think like us. He gives information in a way that you'll understand in the future, because your understanding is limited. But once you learn the language, it's much more easier. I just thought I should share that today, guys. Those who don't have our YouTube channel, I'll follow up with the link, because it's about time we stop the status updates. They're just a lot. Talking about it, we're sitting on 7 minutes, which is very long. But anyway, I just wanted to share that today. Any questions, just bring them forth to me. I had another lady this morning having me to interpret her dream. And it was very easy for me, as I've told you before. For me, it's very easy to interpret your dreams. But for me, they're very cryptic and symbolical that it might take me time to understand them. But I've just realized that God gives the symbolism more when He trusts you with more things. Okay, guys, that's enough now. We're going for 8 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. I'm enjoying mine.